Hello, the Logical Indian community.
My name is Shivani Kapoor and I am a program officer at EDR.
Welcome to our podcast series.
This episode will focus on why political parties should be brought under the ambit of Right to Information Act. In this section, we will be discussing why it is crucial to declare political parties as public authorities, related legal and constitutional provisions, and how bringing parties under RTI Act can cure many problems prevalent in our electoral and political process. Political parties have a binding nexus with the country and its citizens. As a central institution of democracy, they embody the will of the people and carry their expectations that democracy will be truly responsive to their needs. Supreme Court had once said, in a government of responsibility like ours, where all the agents of public must be responsible for their conduct, there can be but few secrets. The people of this country have a right to know every public act, everything that is done in a public way by their public functionaries. ADR has been working relentlessly towards this cause since 2010, when we started filing RTI applications with various political parties, asking for information related to details of maximum contributions received between financial year 2004-5 to 2009-10. Most of the parties either did not reply or denied being a public authority. Ultimately, in 2011, we filed a complaint with the Central Information Commission. On June 3, 2013, the CIC declared 6 national political parties, namely the INC, BJP, CPI, CPI-M, NCP and BSP to be public authorities under Section 2, Subclause H, Subclause 2 of the RTI Act. Surprisingly, none of the parties complied with the order of the full bench of CIC, which is a quasi-judicial constitutional body. Due to the non-compliance of the CIC order, 4 applications were filed with the CIC. Ultimately, on 16th March 2015, the CIC held that even though the 3rd June 2013 order is final and legally binding, the Commission does not have ample powers to deal with the cases of contempt and non-compliance. Therefore, in 2015, ADR was left with no choice but to file a PIL in the Supreme Court requesting the court to bring political parties under RTI Act. Based on our petition, notices were issued to the government and the political parties. The matter is still pending in the Supreme Court.
Let us now understand the detailed rationale as to why political parties should be brought under the ambit of RTI Act. First and foremost, political parties are substantially financed by the government. Section 2, Subclause H, Subclause 2 of the RTI Act declares any authority or body or institution to be a public authority if they are substantially financed by the government, directly or indirectly. And political parties are indeed indirectly financed by the government. Now let us see how. Political parties are allotted land in prime areas of Delhi either free of cost or at concessional rates, including allotment of land in state capitals. Directorate of State has allotted bungalows to political parties in Delhi at highly concessional rates. Under Section 13A of the Income Tax Act, political parties get 100% tax exemption. During Lok Sabha and State Assembly elections, political parties are allotted airtime slots on Doordarshan and All India Radio absolutely free of any charge. This is how political parties are indirectly financed by the government. Political parties also wield tremendous power under the 10th schedule of the Constitution of India. Our entire political system revolves around the political parties. Under the 10th schedule of the Constitution, political parties enjoy a strong hold over their elected MPs and MLAs. Now let us see how. Political parties can disqualify an elected member, whether an MP or an MLA, if he or she steps out of the party line.
Now, this makes it compulsory for an MP or an MLA to abide by the directions of the political parties, failing which the member stands to be disqualified. Political parties bind legislators in their speeches and voting inside the House. They decide what laws are made. They decide whether government remains in power or which government should come to power. Political parties decide public policies that affect lives of millions of people. Bringing political parties under RTI Act is also in larger public interest. CIC, while declaring political parties as public authorities, had said that the criticality of the role being played by these political parties in our democratic setup and the nature of duties performed by them also point towards their public character. Now let us see how. The preamble of the RTI Act aims to create an informed citizen and to contain corruption and to hold government and their instrumentalities accountable to the governed. Needless to say, political parties are important political institutions and continuously perform public functions which define parameters of governance and socio-economic development in the country. Political parties are life and blood of our polity. Elections are contested on party basis. Political parties affect the lives of citizens directly or indirectly in every conceivable way and are continuously engaged in performing public duty. A political party which does not respect democratic principles in its internal functioning cannot be expected to respect those principles in the governance of the country. It cannot be dictatorship internally and democratic in its functioning outside. Political parties too have some legal rights and liabilities, and this indicates that they must become transparent and accountable in order to give effect to such rights and liabilities. Now, what are those rights and liabilities? The political parties have been given a legal status under Section 29A of the Representation of People Act. Under Section 29A, Subclause 5 of the Representation of People Act, the political parties are required to bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India. Political parties also have to file their election expense and contribution statements of value of Rs 20,000 and above with the Election Commission under Section 29C of the Representation of People Act. Political parties are given 100% tax exemption, and in case of default regarding their financial statements, such an exemption stands cancelled. The political parties give ticket to the candidates and people vote on party symbols. Election Commission awards symbols to political parties under the Election Symbols Reservation and Allotment Order 1968. Election Commission is also vested with the superintendence, direction, control of elections under Article 324 of the Constitution. Election Commission is also vested with the authority to suspend or withdraw recognition of a political party in certain contingencies. Why it is imperative that parties come under RTI Act? Transparency and accountability constitute the core of our democratic constitutional system. Therefore, same concept must also apply to and bind the political parties which are integral to the parliamentary democracy. It is the political parties that form the government, man the parliament, and run the governance of the country. Therefore, it becomes even more crucial to introduce reforms like inner party democracy, criteria for ticket distribution, information about office bearers, financial transparency and accountability within their working. In fact, the Law Commission of India, way back in 1999, in its 170th report on electoral reforms, had recommended transparency in the functioning of political parties. All this can be achieved only and only if parties are declared public authority. In our country, we have laws specifically for temples, schools, hospitals, institutions, clubs, but we don't have a single law dealing with political parties. There is no way to penalize them in case of any default. There is zero accountability among office bearers and hence no fair. Let's not forget, eventually it is a political party which forms rules, decide policies through its elected representatives. They are the ultimate repository and guardian of our whole constitutional, democratic, socio-economic setup. And there is no one to question them. There is no onus upon their functioning. It is no secret that political parties have become a breeding ground for money. There is a strong nexus between money and muscle, where only money and mafia will get the tickets to contest elections. There are parties which do not even contest elections and are formed solely for the purpose of money making. In fact, in 2016, ECI had delisted 255 political parties that existed only on papers and had not contested elections at all. There is no CAG audit of political parties' account statements. And if that's not all, there is another predicament. That is conflict of interest, or some like to call it quid pro quo, between parties and corporate joints that fund these parties in return for a policy in their favor. We have seen many such occurrences in the past, and this will continue to flourish in the near future in absence of any check and balance within the political class. Therefore, it will be a fallacy to hold that transparency is good for all state organs but not so good for the political parties which control most of those organs. Like I had said earlier, political reforms demand political parties to be absolutely transparent and accountable. That there is a complete disclosure of donations, sources of funds, income and expenditure. That there should be a criteria for ticket distribution, inner party elections, information about office bearers. With the emergence of other disturbing trends in our electoral and political process, like electoral bonds, unlimited and anonymous corporate donations, amendments to FCRA, unprecedented amendments by governments in power to mold law in their favor, increasing criminality in politics, it becomes the need of the hour that parties are brought under the ambit of RTI Act. It is high time that we do some pondering and realize that instead of spending a taxpayer's hard-earned money to reform the society and country at large, the governments, past, present, future, the institutions and authorities who have taken an oath to uphold the rule of law are rather busy in spending this hard-earned money to further the greed of our leaders and parties one way or the other. We have now set up special courts, fast-track courts, to deal with the cases pending against MPs and MLAs. And if that's not all, money is being spent on wider publication of such cases. Whereas the only answer is bring parties under RTI, make them answerable for each and every public act so that there is fear amongst them, so that they become conscious of their actions and perform well, so that they know that citizens know. Well, that's all for today's episode. I hope you all found this useful and interesting. If you like our work, make sure you subscribe to the podcast on our website at adrindia.org. And don't forget to write to us at adrindia.org with your feedback. We will be back in 2 weeks with another amazing episode. Please stay tuned and thank you for listening.